Hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. Don't forget to leave a like on the channel because it helps out the channel and it helps out my algorithm, and it's also free. It's okay. You can do it. Just leave a like. So, today, optimism news. I mean, most of the news in crypto is kind of like always optimistic. But it seems like we've kind of swung back once again to everyone talking about exactly where cryptocurrency prices are going to go and how high that they're going to go in the time period at which that a lot of people are going to become richer from having invested in the cryptocurrency market. So, for those of you who haven't been keeping track or seemingly have just missed the news in the last year and a half, there's not a lot of Bitcoin left. Whales are buying a lot of Bitcoin. There's not a lot of Bitcoin left on cryptocurrency exchanges. 91% of all Bitcoin is now being held by whales who have consistently been buying over the course of the last 10 or so years. What was the other thing? We have, there's now a new category of wallets called permanent wallets, where basically over the course of the last decade, these wallets have only been accumulating cryptocurrencies, and in this case Bitcoin, and have not sold any. None. Nada. Zilch. Not one Bitcoin, not one Satoshi. They've only been accumulating for a very long time. And because of all these factors, and because of the ETFs, and because of the other ETFs launching around the world, and because of the halving, is 9,000 things that we can talk about. But because of all those things smushed together, the analysts are now talking about where Bitcoin's price is primed to go. A very, very popular crypto analyst. His name is Willy Woo, last name WOO. A lot of people are now discussing percentages as well. I don't know exactly where that came from. It seems maybe just the trend of the month. People are talking about percentages of things. And if Bitcoin gets a percentage of this thing, and if Bitcoin has a percentage of that, we used to have that kind of years ago when it came to gold. The idea was if Bitcoin captured X amount of the market, or this percentage of the market, therefore it would be worth more than gold. And once it's worth even a portion of gold, people would begin to sell off their gold. The valuation of gold goes down. Bitcoin's price goes up. Bitcoin captures more of the market, that kind of thing. It also ties lightly into the idea of Bitcoin at some point. This is the mythology of Bitcoin going to $100 million per coin. It's by capturing a large portion of the world market. Willy Woo says and believes that Bitcoin is about to rise by more than, he says, 975% from its current value. It will make sense, I promise. He says, and I do quote, "Nobody knows what the ultimate price of Bitcoin will be, but simple math can give us an upper bound." He is using the M2 metric for money. There's M1, M2, M3. M3 typically includes debt and kind of every asset. He says if Bitcoin captures all of the M2, that is $500 trillion. That gives us a $24 million coin for Bitcoin. Today's value, not adjusted for future inflation, which is only going to get worse because inflation tends to get worse every single year. The valuation of the dollar and of money continues to always go down, while Bitcoin always remains kind of at the constant of how much Bitcoin that there is, because we cannot mathematically by the computer create more than 21 million. So if today Bitcoin captured the M2 money supply, it would have a valuation of $24 million per coin. He said the question is, what will be the realistic allocation for everyone? This is where the percentages comes in. If Bitcoin captures a percentage of the world's wealth, how high is Bitcoin's price? If people allocate a percentage of the amount of money and the amount of assets that they have into Bitcoin, where does Bitcoin's price go? One of the ideas, and this is currently kind of happening right now, in the Bitcoin cryptocurrency space is allocation from A literally to be being Bitcoin. A lot of people, and I'll give it to you this way. So the idea basically is, let's say you intend on buying another TV. However, you're like, I don't want that TV. So instead of spending money on the TV, you put it into Bitcoin. You see that you already have 2 cars. It's just you in the house. I don't need a 3rd car. So instead of buying that, you put that money into Bitcoin. I have friends who have nearly exclusively kind of foregone the idea of wanting to own more real estate that they already have. So they're buying crypto instead. Instead of allocating $300,000 into a house, they're putting it into crypto. That's one of the general first ideas. The other idea is people eventually selling off the assets that they have. That's why I said we're beginning to see the first signs of this, to put that money into the cryptocurrency space. What percentage of an allocation is the average person going to have that would then mathematically continuously cause Bitcoin's price to tick up higher and higher? If you have $100 in Bitcoin, you have $100 in Bitcoin. It's not a gigantic allocation of your portfolio. If at some point you go, Bitcoin's performing really well compared to every other asset, which it is because it's up by millions of percent, not a fake number, since it was first created, you would then go, all right, I got 100K to invest. I'm going to put 10K into Bitcoin as opposed to my original 100. You now have increased your allocation of Bitcoin. As time goes on, you go, you know what? Every month I'm going to start buying an extra $200 worth of Bitcoin. You're increasing your allocation and the amount of money that you have. He said the question is, what will be the realistic allocation for everyone? Wealth management is very predictable, and money flows in a conservative manner according to known wisdom. The problem is that the world has changed dramatically. Normally, for a risky asset or any asset, a lot of times you would allocate around 0.5% to 1% of your portfolio. This is more of a larger grand scheme of wealth kind of idea. Fidelity recently said, I believe it was this year, they said that they recommend an allocation into Bitcoin of between 1 to 3% of one's portfolio. 1 to 3% tends to be a larger number than you would normally see. As with a riskier asset, you would choose 0.5% and or 1%. A lot of people forgot that this even happened earlier this year. I made a video about it because I was like, hey, is anybody paying attention? Anybody out there? Because this is freaking crazy. We found I don't know if it was leaked or what. It was information from BlackRock to their clients. And they told them don't forget this. They told them around the time that Bitcoin was like $13,000, $14,000. They told their clients that they should have an 85% allocation into Bitcoin. And do you remember what happened? Bitcoin went from 13, 14, 15,000 back up to $70,000. You can find it. They literally said an 85% allocation. And I remember I was like, everyone, you heard this number, right? I'm not the only one sitting in this room who knows numbers. A lot of other companies have told their clients 10 to 15%. That's a gigantic allocation. If you have hundreds of millions, if you have billions of dollars, as opposed to being like, I would put 20 million into it. They're telling these people, you should be aiming for $100 million into this asset class. And then BlackRock said 85%. He said if we see a sensible allocation by these wealthy people alone, keeping in mind this is usually what a lot of the numbers end up being. A lot of people tend to focus on the very rich as opposed to the normies like us, even though that allocation also continues to further increase things. If we have, he said, a sensible allocation of 3%, we are looking at a lower bound valuation for Bitcoin of $700,000 US. You know what that's a smidge away from? I'm sure one person knows the number. It's 800,000. You know what 800,000 is significant for? It's the market valuation of gold. Yeah, when Bitcoin hits $800,000 per coin, it will have a higher market cap than gold. And the idea then is, for those of you who've maybe not heard the news over the course of the last couple of years, tying directly into what I was just saying, the idea ends up being that people holding gold and other assets would then go, I should have been buying Bitcoin. I should have been buying crypto because the price rose by 975%, and therefore my allocation, little bit of money, would have gotten me to exactly in what I have in gold right now, and therefore Bitcoin was the answer. We are having very intense price predictions for the cryptocurrency market as of late. A lot of them are swinging to the very high six figures. But I mean, once again, all the crypto and Bitcoin news that we've been getting has kind of been pushing us in that direction. There's not a lot of Bitcoin left. The Bitcoin on the market that's there is not all liquid. Any coins that get sold off are coming from retail investors, everyday normal people. Those coins are being bought up in mass daily, constantly. For those of you who just missed one of the other videos, weekly, whales are currently buying over 100,000 Bitcoin in anticipation for the big move and for the bull market. We have never seen accumulation like this before in crypto and in Bitcoin. So they're preparing for something huge, and they plan on holding this. This is probably, according to everything we've been seeing, going to be the new form of wealth. This is the new asset class. We haven't had a new asset class in hundreds of, literally thousands of years. There aren't many new asset classes that pop up. So yeah, we're getting a lot of these larger number predictions. He says if just 3% moves into Bitcoin, it goes up by 975%. We get near the valuation of gold. And for those of you who missed it, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, a lot of larger analysts said that if we continue on this path of accumulation and of prices rising, by the next 2 decades, we will see a $10, $15, $20 million Bitcoin per coin. So always keep that in the front of your mind. Yeah, I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.